Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I do my no foundation makeup routine, which is perfect for the summertime. Everything that I use will be linked down below, including these lashes that I got from Amazon, so make sure to check out the links down below. And let's go ahead and jump right into the video, starting with a nice fresh face. So when I start my makeup, I like to put on my lip plumper first. I know that's probably weird or backwards to some people, but I like to put it on first and just let my lips get all big and juicy. The lip plumper that I swear by is from Too Faced, the Maximum Plump. This is the best lip plumper I've ever used. This is my third bottle, I kid you not. Okay, so once we have that applied, then we can start going in with our concealer. Like I said, we're not using any foundation for this look, concealer only. So this first concealer I'm using is actually from ColourPop. If you've never checked out ColourPop's concealers, definitely try them out. They're really affordable and they work really well. I'm just using this one as a spot corrector, so I'm just going in covering up any dark marks. I actually have my birthmark on my face, so I like to cover that too. And then we're just going to take a fluffy concealer brush and blend that out. Now, I've actually had this concealer brush for so long that I can't remember where I got it from. But when I tell you this brush was worth every penny, I can't remember how much it was, but it was definitely worth the money, okay? I've had this brush for years, so I do want to stress the fact that it's important to invest in some good brushes. I want to say this one's either from e.l.f. or from Morphe. I'm not exactly sure, but I will find something similar and link it down below. When it comes to blending, I prefer to use brushes. I know a lot of girls like to use makeup sponges, but me personally, I like to use brushes. It just works better for me. And this is me just showing y'all where I burn myself doing my hair. If y'all ever seen burn marks on my forehead, it's from me doing my hair. I'm very clumsy. But anyways, back to what I was saying. When it comes down to blending, I prefer to use a makeup brush over a makeup sponge. I feel like makeup brushes are a little bit more advanced. However, they give you a better finish. But I do recommend using a makeup sponge for beginners or people who are still learning to blend out their makeup, because a sponge is going to pick up any excess makeup. So if you put too much makeup on, the sponge is going to pick it up, opposed to a brush is not going to pick up the excess product. You're just going to have to keep blending it out. Okay, and next we're going to start on eyebrows. Again, I know this routine may be out of order for some people, but this is just how I do my makeup, so figure out what works for you, okay? And whenever I'm doing my brows, I do like to use a brow gel. The current one that I'm using is from NYX, the brow glue, and it's okay. I'm not gonna rave about it, but I'm not gonna complain about it either. It was very affordable. However, I am gonna look into some other brow gels because this one isn't the best. However, it does work, it gets the job done. I apply the brow glue and then I actually press it in, press my hairs down with my finger, and then I go over top of it with some powder, some setting powder, just to set my brows before I start to fill them in. Lately, when I'm doing my eyebrows, I've just been filling them in with a dark brown pencil, but that's just because I cannot find my brow gel anywhere. I love using the brow gel from NYX in the shade Espresso, but that shade specifically is always sold out. Like, I can never find it. So the next best thing is just a dark brown eye pencil. And a quick little side note, major shout out to my homegirl in the background. Hey girl, I forgot to tell y'all that me and her were getting ready for a little Sunday fun day. So we're just doing our makeup so we can go out to eat and get some drinks and just be cute together. Okay, but back to the makeup. Now that we filled in our brows, we're gonna go in with another concealer. This concealer is going to be used to start your highlight and also shape your brows. So it should be 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. Now this concealer that I'm using right here is from Hourglass. And I really do hate to be that YouTuber that keeps telling y'all to try this product or to try that product. But if you have the coins and you want to invest into a magnificent concealer, not a good concealer, a magnificent concealer, try the Hourglass concealer, okay? I know I just told y'all to try ColourPop, and you definitely should because it's still a good concealer and it's definitely way more affordable than the Hourglass. But if you have the coins and you want to upgrade your makeup just a little bit, definitely spring for the Hourglass concealer. It's so rich and so creamy, and they have so many shades that you will find the shade that you need. But regardless of whichever concealer you choose to use, I like to let it sit on my face for a little bit, and then I go over top with some setting spray. concealer, and then I use a flat concealer brush to spread out my concealer. Not to blend it in, but to just spread it so that it's sitting where I want it to on my face. And again, I love a good concealer face. It's perfect for the summer because it's so lightweight. I know to some people this may seem like a lot of makeup, but when you're a makeup girly and you do full faces with foundation and all the other trimmings, this is not a lot of makeup at all. And so it's way more lightweight. It's perfect for someone like me who tends to sweat a lot, especially if it's hot. So I love a good concealer face. Just make sure that you're putting an SPF 50 underneath before you start applying your concealer. And now I'm going to work on my contour. This concealer that I'm using for my contour is from e.l.f., another really good brand, very affordable if you're looking for some good concealers. I use this one for my contour. It's about 2 shades darker than my natural skin tone, so it is perfect. You just want to make sure to be careful when you're adding in your contour because it's really easy to overdo your contour. And a harsh contour is actually very difficult to fix. Once you do too much contour, it's really hard to save the face. So just be careful not to add too much in. That's why if you notice, I didn't blend out my highlight all the way just yet. I wanted to add in my contour, and that way when I start to blend out my highlight, I can cover up some of the harsh contour so it all comes together. I know the makeup kind of looks harsh right now, but that's why blending is so crucial. You have to blend until it all comes together. And I do use the same concealer brush for both my contour and my highlight. I use the same fluffy brush, and I just keep blending until it doesn't look crazy anymore. And now we're gonna go in with another Hourglass concealer. This is the brightest highlight that I use, and I use it for my under eye. I don't use too much of this. It's just literally for right underneath my eye and my nose contour. And then we're gonna start to blend that in as well. Now, depending on how natural you want your face to look, you don't have to do this step. It's very much so optional. I personally just like a nice bright under eye. It makes me look more awake. So I'm gonna use 2 concealers for my highlight instead of 1. This adds more dimension to your face, and it just makes your makeup look way better in my opinion. And I don't know the shades right off the top of my head, but when I list them down below in the product section, I will make sure to add the shades that I'm using for each concealer as well. And right here, you can see how important it is to contour because look how I just snatched my nose right on up. Oh, I love makeup. And another pro tip, I know you see me adding in the setting spray as I go. If you feel like your concealer is drying out while you're applying it, just go in with some setting spray to moisten your face and then continue to blend it out. And right here, you can kind of see what I meant by saying adding different shades of highlight and contour gives your face more dimension. It just makes your face look more natural. It makes it look more realistic. And the more you blend it out, the better it looks. And I did not speed up this video. This video is in real time, so you can see how I actually blend out my makeup. Now we're going to begin to set our concealer. I'm using the Mercier translucent powder, and I love this powder. This has been the only setting powder I've been using for a while. So I use the loose powder first, and I just pat it in. I don't necessarily blend it all the way out. I do let it kind of sit to bake my face, but I do make sure that I'm pressing it in so that there's no gaps or it's not looking patchy when I try to blend out the rest of it. And you want to make sure that you're adding your setting powder anywhere you added your highlight to make sure that you're setting that concealer. So underneath your eyes, on your nose, anywhere that you added that highlight. So we're going to let that translucent powder sit for a little longer. That's called baking. And while we're baking that highlight, we're going to go in and add some more dimension to our contour. I'm using the black Radiance contour palette, and I have 2 different contour brushes that I use for my face. I have the angled one that I use for the sides of my face, like my cheeks, my chin, my forehead, and then I use the flat contour brush for my nose just to go in and, like I said, add some more dimension, some more depth to my contour. And just like with the liquid concealer, you want to be just as careful with the powder. It's really easy to over contour, and like I said, it's really hard to fix a bad contour. So be very light-handed and build up if you need to. If you overuse, then you can always go in with your concealer brush like I'm doing here and just blend it out. And the key to a better contour is just to keep blending, like keep blending. And now we're going to start to blend out some of this setting powder. So I'm first going to go in with my Maybelline Fit Me pressed foundation powder. I'm just going to use a fluffy brush to blend this out, and I'm only applying this to everything beneath my contour, so like my chin area and my forehead. For For my under eye, I'm going to go in with the Easy Bake Pressed Powder. This I just recently added into my routine and I do love it. The translucent powder that I use to bake my face, I feel like kind of whitewashes me or leaves me looking kind of like ghostly. So I use this to add some color back into my face, and I only apply this to underneath my eye, and I use an angled foundation brush to press it in and to blend out that setting powder. And now we're pretty much at the finish line for this makeup look. Just a couple more things to add in to complete the face, such as adding on the lashes. These are the lashes that I showed at the beginning of the video. I did get them from Amazon and I will link them down below. They come in a big pack, so it's about 10 pairs of lashes, and I believe they're like $9 on Amazon, so they're really affordable and they're reusable. I reuse them all the time. As far as the mascara goes, I'm actually not sure what brand this is. I borrowed this one from my friend while we were getting ready because I was all out. I really don't use mascara that often because I'm always wearing lashes. I only use them for my bottom lashes. I also do like to go in with some black eyeliner to do my lash line. I love bottom liner. I know I saw some people going back and forth online basically trying to say it was like old or outdated, like we don't do that no more. Y'all are tripping. Okay, some bottom liner really makes your eyes pop, so I love it. And now for the best part, the part that really brings the whole face together, adding in the blush. I love blush, you guys. Like, it just does something to me. I just love the way it looks. It really just adds warmth to your face. It adds more dimension, and it just makes you look so cute. I love blush. The blush palette that I'm using today is from Juvia's Place, and I absolutely love it. I had actually been eyeing the Juvia's Place palettes for a while, so I'm so happy I got my hands on them. They're very pigmented, and a little goes a long way, so I would just start slow and build it up. As you see, I don't just put it on my cheeks. I add blush to my nose. I add it around my chin, on my forehead. I pretty much put it all over my face just to add color and dimension back into my face. And just look at how good that looks. This orange color is perfect for the summertime. Again, I'm not sure which volume this is, but I will make sure to list it down below. And I really do go overboard with the blush, but that's just because I like how it looks. So again, this is a personal preference. You don't even have to add in blush if you don't like blush. I just like blush. It really completes the face for me. So I'm gonna OD and add it in everywhere.
What volume is that? Okay. They didn't have one when I went there. So I was like, you know, I got this one. I think I got 4. So the 4 is like a Barbie thing. Yeah. And I like it, but only with certain looks. It's not like it's not every day. Yeah.
And that really just answered my own question. I'm using the volume 6 palette from Juvia's Place. Even my friend has a Juvia's Place palette, so we both love it. It's really, really good if you want to check that out. Now we're going to jump into the lips, and that's really going to complete the face. We're doing the MAC lip liner in the shade Chestnut. I do love this one. This is a really good lip liner. It is a little pricey, so you don't have to go for this one, but the MAC lip liners are worth it. I do love it. And remember, I did add a lip plumper at the beginning of the video, so if I hadn't have done it at the beginning, I would do it before I start my lip liner. But like I said, it's already on there. My lips are already nice and juicy, so we can just go ahead and start lining my lips. And it's just so crazy to see how my makeup has evolved over the years, because a couple years ago I was not even doing a lip combo. No lip liner, no nothing. I would do a full face of makeup and then just add on some lip gloss and be wondering like, what's missing? Like, why does my makeup look incomplete? I ain't had no lipstick on, duh. But really that was just because I didn't know how to do lips, and it took me a while to find a lip combo that I actually liked. So I'm gonna just go ahead and give y'all my secret recipe to a perfect nude lip so you don't have to figure it out on your own. You start out with a dark brown lip pencil. Mine is from MAC in the shade Chestnut. Then I go in with the NYX lipstick in the shade London, and then you go on top with your choice of lip gloss. And that pretty much completes the look, you guys. This is my everyday routine for this summer. All the products that I use will be linked down below. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Don't forget to come and pick up your hood.